All right, I think we are live. Okay. Hey, I think we're live. Hey, everyone. It's Coach Julie here, and I am live with my client, Cheryl. So before I forget, if you are watching live, hashtag live squad. If you're watching replay, hashtag replay squad. But I'm going to hand it over to Cheryl and let her introduce herself really quickly. And then we're going to get started with this interview. So, Cheryl, go
Awesome.
ahead.
Thank you, Julie. So as Julie mentioned, my name is Cheryl. I live in Central Florida. I'm actually on the west side of Disney, so I get all the wonderful things about Disney each night. I get the fireworks and all those fun things. But I'm in the hospitality industry, so obviously I live in one of the biggest meccas of hotels and entertainment, aside from Las Vegas, that you could probably count on. I've been in the hotel industry basically my entire life. I am currently 52 years old, and I'm a mother to, they're going to be 9 at the end of May, so I'm just going to call them 9-year-old twins, boy and girl. I have a very busy lifestyle, mainly because of my children. They keep me nice and young. What else can I tell you? I'm extremely busy, obviously, in their life. So not only do I have a full-time career and I'm a wife, and a household to keep up with, but I'm also very much involved in my daughter's Girl Scout troop and my son's Cub Scout pack as well. So I'm, as Julie knows, my life is pretty chaotic. Like probably most of you, we all have a lot going on in our world. So I'm right there with you.
Yes, you stay super busy. I didn't know you lived that close to Disney either. Like, I know that I see you there like more than most people, but I didn't know you were that close to it, which
Yeah, I actually will drive through Disney World to get to the other side of Orlando versus going around Disney, because
yeah.
Disney is massive, you know?
Right.
So yeah, it's a pretty cool place to live.
Yeah, that is really cool. That is awesome. Okay, Cheryl. So you've been with me for a little bit now, but tell everyone, where was your health before you started working with the Fit and Fulfilled team?
So if I were to be really honest, it was in the toilet for several reasons. First and foremost, prior to joining, I had been for the prior 3 years going through perimenopause. And while doing that, I was also recovering from a really bad injury to my knee where I had to have ACL replacement. And then the following year, I had to have my left foot surgery. And then the following year after that, my right foot surgery. And so you're talking 3 back-to-back summers of massive renovations, if you will, on the lower half of my body that kept me out of the gym, and it kept me from doing the things that I loved. Prior to my knee surgery, I couldn't even walk on the beach without being in severe pain. Blowing out my knee was traumatic to begin with, but then I lived with that for 2 years afterwards. So I really wasn't working out. I wasn't doing the things that made me happy. I was still kind of keeping off the weight because, like I'm sure a lot of us on here prior to joining, we did all the fun stuff, right? We did Atkins, we did keto, we did Weight Watchers, we did Jenny Craig, you name it, I did it. All right, I tried everything to stay thinner, healthier, because I wasn't moving. But in the reality, and over the course of the last 3 years, when menopause really kicked in, there was nothing helping me. The weight packed on, the stomach fat, the body shape change, not being able to move, it was depressing. So my health overall was not in a great place. On top of that, I love to entertain. So there was a lot of cooking and eating going on in my world, and a lot of drinking. And I just couldn't get out of my own way to find what was working for me. And I was pretty desperate, and I was pretty much at the end of my rope. I just kind of stopped looking. So that was before joining.
Yes. And then let's see. So I feel like you kind of touched on it, like how your health was affecting your life as a whole. Did you have anything kind of to add to that?
From a mental standpoint, I was extremely short fused with my family and my children. I think that depression had also fed into other parts of my life, but I think a lot of the reason why I was getting into those ugly situations in my world because of my health was my blood sugars were completely off. My hormones were horribly off. There was nothing that was on track. And just overall, it was, like I said, it was in the toilet. I was pretty desperate.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely sounds like you're trying everything to change your situation, but just nothing was really helping or sticking, maybe.
Mm.
So, how have things changed for you since you joined FFT?
Um, so when I first joined, just getting into the program, getting some really great gin love, if you will. Like she had me pull my blood work several times, several different. Like I felt like for 2 months, I went back to the blood lady, and she'd be like, "You're back again," and I'm like, "I've got another test for you to do." We did so many different layers of blood testing on me to get my blood sugars right, to figure out what was where I was because of the menopause. Everything was jacked up. She got me on a really nice regimen of vitamins and minerals, which you've obviously helped to kind of help me maintain and tweak as we've gone along. When I first began, obviously we're ramping up. So we're ramping up. I'm now eating more calories than I probably ever have in my life, mindfully, right? Because obviously, if you're not paying attention, you eat probably either too high or too low without even realizing it. You think you're eating well, but you're not.
Mhm.
But once I started tracking and I really started trending higher and higher on those calories, and then also, lightly walking in every day, I was walking every single day. So for me, just carving out that time for me was the first step to any success in the future for myself, because I have a really hard time saying no. If, like, let's go back to when I did my introduction and all the crazy things I'm involved in, it's because I don't know how to say no. And
Mhm.
so um, I just needed to learn how to carve some time out. So my family respects it. Sometimes they're a little bit of a knucklehead about it, but I'm like, hey, this is my time. You're going to school and mommy's going to go walk, period. You just kind of have to make that time for yourself. So that always helps. So in the beginning, when all of those things kind of kicked in, where I am at today, I think I'm successful today because of all those things that we did in the forefront of the program. It
Yeah.
really helped. It built the foundation for just a solid progression and solid success, which trusting the process is half the battle too, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely having to trust like what you're being told to do, which you absolutely did, because at first we had to bring your calories up, kind of like what you were saying. And now we're in the phase of, fat loss phase. But you had to work to get into a good spot to be able to do that. And you worked very hard at that. And it's definitely cool to watch, you trust the process and trust what you were being told to do, whether, like you said, it was, adding in these supplements, or bringing your calories up, just, everything that you were instructed to do, you did so. So it was definitely awesome to watch. So my next question for you was going to be like, what was the most helpful thing for you that's kind of led to your success? And I think you kind of answered that, which was just kind of like carving out that time for you and laying the foundation. Um,
For
is there
sure.
anything you wanted to add to that, or is that kind of your answer to that question?
I really think that the MyFitnessPal app
Mhm.
has been the secret to my success, because I'm a very independent worker, right? My job in hospitality, I'm an independent contributor, so I don't have a lot of nobody oversees me. I'm manage myself independently every single day, and that's kind of how I am in my life. Like, if somebody were to tell me I always have to go left, I'm going to find a way to go right. I mean, you know that. I've told you before, like, I will I will push you to the point of frustration because I want to do it my way. Well, the app has given me that independence to be able to do it in a way that you've never said, okay, you need to have this many calories, but you need to eat it this way. You said, I need you to follow your macros. However you get there, just follow the macros. And that's been really helpful to me because, again, I like to eat and I like to eat really good food. And so as long as I can find it in my app, I can make it work within my macros, then I've been successful. And I like that. I liked having that freedom.
Yeah,
So that was success.
definitely. And you've always been really good about like your food choices and finding ways to make things work for you. So I definitely think, like you said, that independence has been um, a game changer for you for sure. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so when you initially found us, or we found you, or however it happened, were you skeptical of joining the program? And if you were, Like what ultimately led to your decision of deciding to join FFT?
Um, I'm sure a lot of people listening to this are probably going to be like, I was right there. I totally understand because I feel like I'm so the majority.
Yeah.
I mentioned my frustration. I mentioned I was at the end of my rope. I was so unhappy in the body I was living in, looking at the person back at me in the mirror. I was like, who are you? Where did you come from? You're not the person I love. Um, when I was doing what I normally did at that hour of the night when I was on my phone, you know, squishing through Facebook, I stumbled upon a Genwell ad, and it talked about the things that she learned at Ohio State and the things that she was very proficient in. And the more I read it, it was the more of the things that I was looking for. Again, the hormone balance, the blood sugar balance, understanding what, understanding what the menopause piece did to a woman's body. A lot of my doctors are male doctors. And, my main doctor that I go to, as soon as menopause rolls out of my mouth, he's like, that's not my area. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, you need to go to your gynecologist. You're going to need to go to a girl doctor because they get it. At least he's honest.
Yeah.
But when I read all of that about Jin's knowledge and background, I immediately jumped in. I jumped in headfirst. I couldn't wait to get started. I was a little sticker shocked at first, but I thought, you know what? If I count how much money I have wasted in Weight Watchers and doing keto things and buying this and buying that, if this one thing works for me, and this is the one thing that I like really need the most help in, then it's nothing. It's like bringing sand to the beach. I couldn't wait to get started. And I'm glad that I did. I really don't think I had any skepticism. I really trusted Jen, and it was nice to talk to her. It's one thing to get bubbled up into this giant organization that you girls have started, but the fact that she's still very personable and still touchable, like she's reached out to me personally when I've had questions with you, and she's like, hey, let's get on a call, let's talk about this. And I love that. I think that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Well, we're definitely glad you decided to take the plunge and join us. So we're glad you made that decision for sure. Okay. Who would you say that this program is for?
Wow. Anyone that's looking to get healthy, really. Like I said, I don't know if you have a lot of male clients. I don't know why you wouldn't have male clients. But definitely, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that were or are in the shoes that I were in, that may be dealing with changes in their lives that they don't have any control over, that is affecting so many different aspects of their life. I mean, just reaching out and getting on a call with a psychologist, because I'm like, I think I need medication. I am a mean, nasty mom. I'm a mean, nasty wife. Like, I'm not a happy camper. And luckily, she was smart enough to tell me that's not what you need, but you do need to get these things under control and you need to figure out how to do it. She didn't have a lot of answers, but at least she didn't give me medicine, right? And not to say that that's a bad thing. I'm sure there's a lot of people that take it, but to me, that was like the easy way out of what I needed to find, an easy way out of my old hole.
Right.
So I feel like this program is for anybody that's looking for a true, honest change in your life. And one of the things that I asked you recently was, what's my end game here? Because I'm about halfway through my year and we're now on the decline of my calories and I'm starting to see the weight loss, which is what I've been waiting for. But now I'm like, but now what? I'm a planner. I want to know what's the next step. What do I have to look forward to so I can prepare? And you've said to me, this isn't supposed to be a lifelong step-by-step thing for you. This is to educate you and prepare you and get your body where you've reset it, and to teach you how to do that intermittently as you need to in your future life, which spoke hugely to me because, I may not be a part of the FTT current program, but I feel like I'll always be a part of the FTT family, that I can always reach out, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, you're FFT for life. That's how it
For
works.
life, baby.
Yes. Absolutely. Okay, Cheryl. So my last question for you is, what is one piece of advice that you have for someone who may be hesitant to start their fitness journey?
Um, all I can say is that nothing will change in your life unless you change how you're managing it. So you have to put in the work, right? You have to put in the work. You have to be ready to see real change. Take the plunge. I mean, if somebody's out there looking at this and saying, I'm on the fence as to whether or not I want to join, I would say maybe you're not ready. And if you're not ready, one day you will be. Don't waste the time. Take the plunge. It's a great program, and it's ran by some great women that get it, and that's a part that I love. Um, Give it a year and trust the process. Like what we said before, you've got to trust the process, because there have been times where I'm like, I am so confused. Like, this doesn't make sense to me, and I'm not feeling like I'm seeing what I'm seeing. And you've had to remind me with pictures, like, hello, this is where you started. Take a look at this picture, and this is where you are today. And we're not even finished. We're not even there yet. And you need to slow down the mental piece and just trust the process. And I have. So that definitely would be my advice. Trust the process, take the plunge, do
Yeah,
it. Just do it.
just do it. Yeah. I love it. So true. And yeah, you've always been really receptive of feedback, which I think is a huge portion of this too. Because, when you're working with someone, when you hire a coach, I think being able to hear feedback and take it is really important. So I feel like that was good advice, even though I don't even realize you realized. I don't think you realized that you gave it. So yeah, definitely all great advice that you gave today, Cheryl. And I hope everyone has enjoyed hearing your story as much as I've enjoyed being a part of it. And we're not done yet. We still got a lot of time left, and I'm excited to continue to watch your progress and see how everything unfolds. So it has been so fun. Is there anything else you want to add before we hop off here?
No,
Um,
I just want to say thank you. One of the things that I love about the way you coach and the program itself is that this is a journey. It's not like a 1 week or a month long process. It's a journey. And even if I step off a day and I just have a really bad minute, I've even expressed to you sometimes when I'm feeling like a little less than great. And you're like, you need to flip the story, flip the narrative, and realize that you might be having these negative mind days, but you need to remind yourself how far you've come. And maybe look back at those pictures, right? Look back at where you were, look back at, and I love the one training piece that Jen, or maybe you had done, where you had showed, if you track your weight every day and then you go back and you look at the grid over the course of like 3 months, when you look at it daily, it doesn't look like it's really doing much. But when you look back over the course of 3 months, you might be doing this, and you are going down. You're just going down in a way that is so gradual that you don't even notice it.
right.
And sometimes I have to do that. I have to remind myself that it's working. I have to be patient, and I have to sometimes take a breath. And
Yes.
even if I miss a day, and even if I fall off one day and I'm like, oh, I had such a bad week, blah, blah. And you're like, it's great. Today's a new day. Let's start over, right? You don't ruin all your progress by one bad day.
Absolutely. Yeah. Bigger picture always. Because you can always reset. And now when those bad days accumulate and you let them tack on to each other, that's when there starts to be an issue. But when you can reset and start to have those good days in between those bad days, that's when you start, really moving forward. So, and you've done that. So you've had a lot of good days. And so that's what I try to remind you when you have a bad day. I'm like, but what about all the good days?
What about
What
all the
about
good
all the
days?
good things? So
Don't sour the, don't, whatever the old saying is, like, don't sour the patch by one bad, whatever, right? So
yeah,
it's true. Whatever the saying is, somebody out there knows it.
something like that. Yeah. So, well, I'm definitely proud of you and I appreciate you taking the time to do this interview with me today.
Thank you.
Um, and proud of you for getting your workout done today too, still, even though I know we talked about that earlier. But all right, Cheryl. Well, I'm gonna let you go and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. I know you got work to do. So but yeah, thanks everyone who tuned in. And I already said the piece about live squad and replay squad because I remembered. So, but drop any questions that you guys may have for Cheryl or for myself. I'll be happy to answer them. And I think that's it. So, Cheryl, if you don't have anything else, I'll let you go and I'll chat with everyone later. We'll be back next, or I'll be back next Wednesday at 10 a.m. for my next live. So, all right.
Awesome.
Bye,
Thank you.
Cheryl.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.